Hey guys. Well, we've arrived at yet another elimination for Creingle's Idol Search. For this round, all of the judges were asked to choose 6 contestants for elimination. That was very, very difficult, and I'm not going to leave you in suspense. I'm going to go ahead and be scrolling the names that I ended up choosing across the screen as I keep talking. This was really hard because, first of all, right now I feel like there are maybe 4 or 5 front runners in this competition, and the gap between them and the rest of the pack right now is kind of wide. And I'm hoping that will change. I'm hoping as people step up their games that will really change. And for the people who are in that bottom pack right now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion of course, it's almost equal for differing reasons because people are struggling with different things. And it's hard to choose, okay, which is the bigger offense, so to speak, you know, who deserves to be eliminated more. And I kind of toiled with that, and I'm honestly, even after I sent in my elimination, I'm thinking, did I do the right thing? So I just want to talk about what my thinking was as I did go through and try to pick out people for elimination. Everybody's having their own little struggles. Some people have really strong voices with strong tones, but they're struggling with things like timing and intonation, pitch, being out of tune. There are people who sing really pretty and are in tune for pretty much the whole song, and they just don't have a good sense of style, or they don't have very strong instruments yet. They don't quite know how to use their instruments in the popular genre of music yet. So things like that, you're weighing, okay, what is worse? And I have to tell you, for right now, and this is going to change, I am feeling a little more lenient towards those who are having some pitch problems. Now, my thinking on this is that, well, first of all, everybody's going to have some intonation problems. I don't care who you are. If you're singing live in one take, things are going to happen sometimes. You may go a little flat on a note or not hit something quite the way you really wanted to. And that's forgivable. But some people were really, really having trouble, being quite off in intonation. But I see the potential in them because they have very developed voices. They've already worked out a lot of their vocal abilities. They have really strong tones. They know what they're doing with it in a sense of style. So that helped me to overlook that for now. But that is going to change. Some errors were so blatant that it was really hard for me not to choose those people for elimination. The person who has studied music in me for several years just automatically wanted to put them up for elimination. I won't lie. One was Charlie Chubalova. I loved the look of your video. I love the tone you were using. It's some of the best singing I've heard you do. But towards the end of that song, you were having some really big pitch issues and control. Also, Jessie, my goodness, you have a beautiful tone to your voice, and I love your style, and I see so much potential in you. But one thing, your timing was really off in that song, which I'm sure you heard several times over and over again. And you were just way off intonation-wise, pitch-wise. You were almost in another key a lot of the time towards the end of that song, and you really struggled with that. And I struggled with what to do with you, and I ended up deciding to give you another chance because I see that potential. Conversely, there are people that, you know, had good intonation but just didn't have a sense of style yet about them. I didn't feel they felt comfortable in the popular genres of music. They didn't have a strong tone yet, and those are basics that need to be built upon first and developed, and then you can move on to the next things. But having said that, some of these problems were very blatant intonation problems, and honestly, if I went back and listened to myself and heard that, I couldn't have entered that. I would have had to do another take. And of course, we have to do everything in one take. Let me talk about this really quick. One take. This isn't see who can get the best studio quality recording contest. We're talking about live singing in one take. Otherwise, it becomes really unfair because it just becomes who's better at editing. Like they do in the studios. You know what they do in the studios. In case you don't know, they can sing over and over and over again the song, and just piece it together, like Frankenstein the song together, so it sounds seamless and perfect. And they can even punch in, like if you sing one note wrong or one word that you didn't like, you can just sing that one word and punch it in and just make the song as perfect as you can get it. We're not going to do that here because it's not fair, not reasonable. So everything has to be in one take. So don't even use video effects that might make it seem like you didn't take it in one take. No fading in, fading out, things like that, because people will question that, people will call you out on that, and you may be disqualified for that. So make sure you're being on top of that and being fair about this. What was I saying? Okay, so you're in one take, yes. So there may be small intonation problems that are forgivable, but if you're really, really off and you can hear that you're off, your timing's off, don't accept that from yourself. We're not saying you have to take one take, the first take that you have, and just be like, just throwing it out there. Learn to you need to learn to evaluate yourself, to be critical of yourself. Go back and listen. Do a take. Listen to it. Is there something I could have done better? Like, I was really off on that phrase. Let me try it again. And this analytic technique of looking at yourself, analyzing yourself, that's how you grow as a musician. You have to be able to step outside of yourself and look at yourself and say, okay, I can work on this better. I can do that better. Don't put anything up of yourself that's less than what you think is your best, the best that you could do. That's going to start coming into play for me very much. If I see somebody put something up where it's just off all over the place, I'm going to think you didn't care and you weren't really trying to put the best of you out there, and that's going to really come into play as we move along in this. So don't be afraid. I'll admit it. When I was in this competition, I didn't take the first take of everything I got. Rarely, actually, did I take the first take. I do a take, I go back and watch it and see what I could have improved upon, and keep going until I get something that's reasonably representative of what I want to put of myself out there. So keep that into consideration. I also just want to talk a little bit about tone production. Before you start getting into all kinds of stylistic things and all your little bags of tricks, good, basic, strong tone, focused, supported. Get that first, work on that first, and then branch out and use all those little colors of your voice and stylistic things. Some people are too in their chest voice. They try to push their chest voice too far beyond what it is capable of, and straining, and I'm guilty of that sometimes. I do that sometimes, but don't push yourself beyond what you're capable of. Don't hurt yourself. The opposite of that would be there are people who are just singing in their head voice the whole time, which doesn't work for a lot of pop music. And not just singing in head voice, but just that light, airy, almost like a choir sound is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Like they're singing in choir in school. And you need to evolve past what you've learned to sing. I think my cat just knocked something over. I will be back.